Hey Biz Bestie, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be discussing one of my favorite books of all time called The Audacity to Be Queen. Stay tuned because I'm going to share the biggest takeaway I got from this book and why I think you should read it too if you want to grow your business. In case you're new to my channel, I'm Sha-day Johnson, and I'm a tech strategist helping non-techie coaches just like you to ditch the tech overwhelm. And my focus is helping you with the behind-the-scenes tech and automation in your business so you can get more clients with ease. However, in case you missed the big announcement, which hint, hint, you missed it if you're not on my email list, I'll put the link on the screen somewhere down here so you can go ahead and get in on my email list and get the exclusive announcements. But I have so far on this channel been releasing only one video per week, and that's every Thursday. And that is a video that's focused on teaching you something about the tech in your business and how to implement it so you can have a successful online coaching business. However, when I started the channel, one of the things I mentioned, in the trailer was that I also wanted to include some very inspirational entrepreneurial type topics. And just over the last few months that I've had this channel, I just haven't really had a chance to get that type of content in here. So I thought, okay, what can I do to go ahead and start delivering this inspirational doses of amazingness? And I thought, okay, Sade, you're going to have to go ahead and start doing 2 videos a week. So here we are. This is a Tuesday video because every Tuesday I'm going to be posting something that is more entrepreneur, lifestyle, business, inspirational related, or whatever I feel aligned with that week. One of the reasons I even created this channel was to have a way to release to have an outlet for my creativity. And so I think that's what's going to be on Tuesdays. It's going to really allow me to not be so boxed into just the tech, even though that is one of my major passions and what, the main purpose of this channel is. But I just want to make sure it's really super well-rounded for you. So if you're a coach who has found this channel, I want you to be able to learn about the tech for your business, but also get that weekly dose of the entrepreneurial inspiration that we all need, especially if you're in really any stage of your business, but especially if you're in the beginning stages. I know it can be a little rough. And so finding someone, especially someone who's also in the online space, to motivate you, to inspire you is super helpful, which is why I wanted to talk about this amazing book, The Audacity to Be Queen, today. So the full title is The Audacity to Be Queen, The Unapologetic Art of Dreaming Big and Manifesting Your Most Fabulous Life by the amazing Queen Gina DeVee. I love Gina DeVee so much. This might be kind of a fangirling type of video, so I'll try to keep it under control. But in a nutshell, I found Gina, I want to say, let's just say like 5 years ago. And that was literally from a random Facebook ad that I saw, which now that I know more about Facebook ads, it's not random. It's totally targeted. So obviously I was in her target audience, target demographic. And I don't even remember what the ad was about, but that's basically how I got into her world. And I started seeing how she was talking about all this divine living, which is the name of her company. And she started talking a lot about being feminine and how being a queen is this masterful blend of being feminine and masculine. And I was like, I've never heard that before. I never even really considered what feminine and masculine meant besides just, the general stereotypes of being female or being male. So that was intriguing to me. And so this was before she wrote her book when I found her. And so, I just got involved in her world and loved her way of teaching how to run a business because she is a business coach, but also like a life coach and just a all around you need her type coach. And so I did sign up for one of her coaching programs. And technically she's the very first coach that I ever hired. And that was back in 2020. And it changed my life forever. And if you followed me on this channel, you know that the reason I chose my niche as coaches in my business was because of the experience I had hiring my first coach. And now, it was the amazing Gina DeVee. I've since worked with other amazing coaches since then, but she was, my introduction to the entire world of online coaches. So Gina, if you're watching this, thank you for that. So I wanted to go ahead and talk about this amazing book and just a couple takeaways that I had for it. I will put the description or the link in the description box for where you can buy the book, because I highly recommend you read it cover to cover. What I actually just did is, so I finished reading this book, but I liked it so much that I downloaded the audio version of it as well. And so now I'm listening to the audio version, because when I said I just read it, but that's a lie. I finished reading this, I want to say beginning of 2021, or maybe it was I finished reading it a while ago, but I started re-listening to it recently on the audiobook. And the reason why is because I am in a totally different place mentally than I was when I first read this book, which is a good thing. I've grown a lot. So the things that stuck out to me the first time around are still valuable and awesome, but now things are sticking out differently. So, and it's because of just the work that I've done both with Gina and my other coaches and using the principles in this book. It's because of that work that I've done to really grow my mindset, strengthen my mindset, and really become a queen. So let's see. I have a few Post-its here the first thing I wanted to do was go over what the main topics are in this book. So the book is divided into 5 parts. Part 1 is called Your Epic Life is Waiting. Part 2, Your Royal Initiation. Part 3, Qualities of a Queen. Part 4, The Fully Financed Queen. And part 5, Queens Do Come True. So the first part is one that really stuck out to me, because during the first part of this book, Your Epic Life is Waiting, is where she is going to teach you all actually, okay, how do I want to phrase this? She's going to show you how everything we've been socialized to believe as women has kind of been a detriment to us, a detriment in a lot of ways. And this is one reason why I really identify with Gina, because her story is similar to mine in that when I was growing up, I was really taught to be the good girl. And so I turned out to be a very people pleaser type person. And don't get me wrong, a lot of the qualities that I have, I think are great, but the whole people pleaser thing is not good in the long run, because you end up stifling your desires in order to please everybody else. And in the long run, that is awful, because you end up not living the life that you actually want to live. So part 1 really stuck out to me, because she talks about how you need to own your desires and you need to actually go for them, because that is what a queen would do. And the main thing here that I realized was I grew up Christian, and I've always been a very spiritual person. There's one chapter in here called Spirituality is Your Superpower. And that stuck out to me because I myself am a very spiritual person. And as I've gotten older, I've come to realize that organized religion isn't always the end all be all answer for everything. And really, it's more important to have your one-on-one connection with whatever higher power you believe in, and to really believe that you have that as a superpower. And so she goes into pretty in depth how because we do have that spirituality on our side, that is what is part of making us a queen. So I wanted to read you a quote. It's from page 23, where she talks about your spiritual foundation. And she says, at the core of every queen is her highly developed relationship with Source. It's the most beautiful gift a woman can give herself. As queens, it's our driving force, our safest place, our foundation. Then further down, she goes on to say, the universe doesn't make extra humans. That means that everyone matters and everyone's life is valuable, including yours. With spirit on your side, you'll no longer doubt your capabilities or your destiny to live the epic life. So in part one, what I really took away was that, okay, I'm so grateful that I have this relationship already with spirit. However, I have gotten away from it a little bit. And it's because I haven't really been living the true epic life that I was meant to live. You know, my life matters. I'm here for a reason. I haven't really found my passion yet. I need to find my passion. And now I know that spirituality is going to be on my side. The universe is going to be on my side to make this business that I want to create work. So that is something that I love about this book. Now, the other takeaway that I took away from this is, let's see what section this is in. This is in part 2, your royal initiation. And in this chapter, or in this part, there is a section where she talks about the values for unapologetic queens. So remember in the beginning how I said I've been a little bit of a people pleaser, and I don't really like confrontation, and I just wasn't living my life to the fullest. So being an unapologetic queen really stood out to me because it basically confirmed that, yes, Sha-day, you can go ahead, live this epic life and not be sorry for it. Of course, there's going to be people that are going to be like, oh, who do you think you are? How, well, maybe not how dare you, but how dare you have the audacity to think that, you can have this amazing, luxurious life that you've always wanted, when that's not something that's quote unquote normal because of where I came from or how I grew up, or the fact that, I didn't grow up with money. But like the book title says, the audacity to be queen, I now have that audacity to go for my dreams. And I have the audacity to do it unapologetically now with the help of this book. So the values that she mentions for unapologetic queens are: 1, what others say about you is not your business. That is a big one that I had to learn. And to be honest, that I'm still learning. And the reason why it was, I don't know if I want to call it a problem, but the reason why it was a struggle for me is because having an online business means you need to be highly visible, meaning you need to show up online every single day in some way, whether it's live, whether it's a picture, whether it's just a post, on YouTube, you're showing up all the time, and that opens you up to potential criticism. And for me, I hadn't even been posting, but I was just future tripping on possibly all of the criticism that could possibly come. Things that hadn't even happened, but in my brain, they were just going to happen. And I was giving the potential for that and the potential for those people to say things way too much power. So one of the values that I had to learn, and that I am still learning every single day as I grow more and more, is that what others say about you is none of your business. As long as I know that I'm doing what I've been divinely called to do, that's the only concern I need to have. If I'm doing something that doesn't feel in alignment, then that's a whole other story. And that's when I'm going to, shift what I'm doing. But if I feel like what I'm doing is in alignment with my ultimate goal, then I can't worry about what anybody else says. The other value here is apologize when you get it wrong. Otherwise, don't. That's a big one. How many times are women apologizing? Oh, I'm sorry that, I couldn't make it to your party, to your event, to your this. But do you have to actually be sorry? If you didn't want to go, you just didn't want to go. Or if something more important came up, something more important just came up. You handle it like a queen by saying sorry if you are actually in the wrong, but don't say sorry if you're not in the wrong. Really, if you're saying sorry, you're just taking on extra guilt that isn't even yours to take on. So apologize when it's necessary, but otherwise don't. I love that advice. So that was the second takeaway that I had from this book. The third and final takeaway that I have is from, well, I shouldn't say final, but just the third major one that I wanted to talk about in this video without making it, an hour long, comes from part 4, which is called The Fully Financed Queen. So with this book, I learned so much about myself, as you can probably tell already. And one of the major things I learned was that I have some pretty limiting beliefs when it comes to money, which is crazy to say because my whole life I've always been like, yes, I'm going to grow up and I'm going to be rich. I'm going to grow up and I'm going to have this 6-figure paying job. I'm going to grow up and, have a big mansion and, all the things that you say when you're a kid well, in my case, I was told, you can be anything you want. You can do whatever you want. Go and be a doctor, go and be a lawyer, all this. And then, in my case, and I know in a lot of other people's cases, you grow up, you go to graduate high school, you go to college, then you get stuck with all the student loans. And all of a sudden that dream of, I'm going to go be this high earner is like squashed because you're just like, oh my gosh, I need to just go find a job so I can, pay back these loans. And of course, all the jobs aren't necessarily a CEO. So in my case, I got the degree, I got a decent job, but I was living paycheck to paycheck for years on end because I hadn't learned how to properly budget. And all of a sudden I had this huge student loan payment. And then, I got my first credit card. And so credit card debt started racking up, and then other life situations came. So other types of debt came, and it was just a never ending spiral for me. Now, luckily, things are much better. And, I'm on my way to the positive end of having, or I'm on my way to the other side of being in debt to maybe having a positive net worth one day. I shouldn't say maybe because I know it's coming. It's just a matter of time. But I didn't know or realize along the way that even though I was saying, yes, I'm going to have all this money, I really had a ton of limiting beliefs. And those, I found out from this book, were based on things that I had subconsciously stored in my brain from seeing things and learning things as a child. And, fortunately, I didn't have some terrible childhood, my mom was a single mom, so there was that, but I did grow up in a loving home, which I'm super grateful for. But because we didn't have money and because she lived paycheck to paycheck, that did put basically a scarcity mindset in my subconscious that I didn't realize was in force in my adult life. And so with this book, I was able to identify that and now grow from it. So in this part of the book, she talks about the money monsters and basically how they all function to sabotage us and really keep us in scarcity and away from being and living an abundant life. So some of the money monsters are, well, I'll tell you ones that I identify with because there's like 12 or 15 here, and you may not identify with all of them, but you pick the ones you identify with and, she tells you how to work through them. So one that I identified with was the Saboteur. Unfortunately, it says she's afraid she won't get what she wants, so she blows up her credit or consistent employment. So for me, I've always had a job. That is a plus, except for the one time I got laid off. But I've always had a job. So I've never blown it there, but I have blown up the credit. I kind of used like, I have a credit card. Let me go shopping to, just, it's kind of like emotional eating. It's like, I'm getting so close to paying this off. Let me go ahead and spend a little more. It's like, what? You are sabotaging yourself. What are you doing? And so this really helped to point that out to me and how it was, a crutch that I was relying on. And, the book goes into more detail, but super, super helpful to finally identify those issues that I was having, not even realizing that I had them and how I was sabotaging myself from success, which is crazy. It's like we say one thing, but we do another. I want success, yet I'm blowing up my credit cards. I want success, yet I'm afraid to look at look at my finances and see what I even need to do to get them all cleaned up. It's a mess, ladies. But with this book, I have turned a new leaf. I'm able to really live my epic life, just like it says. So highly encourage you to read this book if you are in a position where you feel like you aren't living your best life, because it's really helping me to live mine. So thank you so much for joining me for this Tuesday video. I hope you enjoyed it, and let me know in the comments if this is something that you like and what other entrepreneurial topics you'd like me to talk about. I definitely plan on sharing more books that I'm reading. Right now, my goal is to read at least one per month, because I've kind of gotten away from doing that this year, even though that was my New Year's resolution. So before the new year starts, I want to get back into it. So I will be sharing more of what I'm reading in the future. And thank you again for joining me. Be sure to go ahead and join my Facebook group if you haven't already. It's called Behind the Scenes Tech for Successful Female Coaches. That's the other place that I hang out besides here on YouTube. It's a place where you can go and get your tech questions answered, and also network with other amazing high vibe coaches. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss my future videos just like this one. And if you have a biz bestie that would benefit from this info, be sure to share it with her. I'll see you next time. Bye.